Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to more Lords and Villeins in our town of Cinderborough. This video is sponsored by Fulcrum Publishing. A big thank you to them for that. You guys can find a link in the description down below if you'd like to learn more about the game. So in the last video, we grew quite a lot. Lots of new families, lots of new houses. We've got bows, we've got clothes, we've got a few new production chains working. We're even starting to produce some glass, if I can find some gosh dang stone blocks. We did, however, discover a small problem. Penelope Tyler over here, my servant, has contracted the measles. That seems a little scary, so there's a good chance that Penelope is going to be dying in the near future, or, maybe recover. Also, maybe contagious and spreading the disease around, who really knows? Only way I really know how to get around that is to possibly place down some clergy zones and get a hospital set up to treat the disease. If we had some salve, bandages, and cures, which we don't. If I had any clergy, which I don't. We could try setting that up. That is an option for us. If you wanted to go ahead and create a clergy class, give them some of their buildings, they might be able to actually perform some of those duties. But then we have to go through initiation rites, we'd have to hold Sunday services, it's going to take a whole load of materials to build out some churches, we're going to have a whole new set of taxes and relations between the lords, the clerics, and the peasants. It's going to be interesting. We have to do it at some point. I'm just not sure we want to do it this exact second. Anyway, I just received all of my taxes, and our inventory is looking very, very good. We're just waiting for the tax collector, who appears to have arrived, and is already up here gathering all of the stuff to take back to the king. Ugh, look at all the stuff he's taking away. It sucks. It sucks so much. Ugh, taxation is theft, I'll have you know. I mean, I've been taxing the crud out of all my own peasants, but now that it's happening to me, I find it morally reprehensible. So yeah, go ahead and get out of here with your ill-gotten gains. Ugh. Well, the king better make it up to me in some way. I mean, yeah, he gave me this land, so, I'm kind of the steward of the whole situation myself, but whatever. I hope he's happy and gives me some sort of reward. Speaking of reward, we actually will be getting that probably the next day or so, and one thing he's going to give us, if we have fulfilled our obligations, which we should have, we will get something called favor points. I alluded to this in the last video. Let me go ahead and explain how that works. So we can actually request specific families with specific talents or skills brought over to our town using the favor points. Right now I have 100. There are always going to be 3 random families available to choose from at a discount, and it refreshes after a certain amount of time, in this case about 1.75 days. And you can spend these points, for example, for this foraging family, 49, 6 people, skill level 3, bada boom. Not bad. Or, if you're looking for something more specific and you're willing to pay a premium in points, let's say with the mining family, we can request something special. So maybe we want to have 3 generations of mining family at skill proficiency level 5. There's all 100 points, boom. So we just spend all the points and in they come. It's a good way to remove some of the randomness of the game. And try to make sure you're building up your economy in a specific way. It also rewards you for, actually obeying the king and doing what you're supposed to. I am tempted to say let's go ahead and get this foraging family, and I think I will. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So the reason I'm doing that is I've been looking at our villagers, and over here, the Fourneau family, now that the wife has died, is looking a little, shall we say, sparse, and it's a little difficult for 2 people to manage a large royal forest area like this. We're going to start falling behind in some lumber production, and I really need my building materials, so I consider that to be not really optional. What I'm probably going to want to do then is take this land away from them, or at least restrict it down to something far more manageable. And it wouldn't even necessarily be a bad idea to go ahead and just retire this family and send both of them to the clergy and start working on that. We could actually try setting up a clergy class just using that, put a small family out to pasture, put them to better use. I don't know, it's something we're thinking about. Alright, so yeah, I kind of want to mess with the clergy a little bit. So if we're going to do that, we'll need a few things. One, we'll need quarters. It's basically a dormitory for all of the monks or novices, whatever it's going to be. Recommends it's a very large one, because you're going to have a lot of people presumably in there. I don't think I'm going to have very many clergy members, so I can actually probably make this fairly small. We will need a church for a Sunday service. This actually will need to be fairly large and expensive. That's one thing I'm not looking forward to. We'll also need to get a library. Library is actually critical because this is where your novices are going to learn the skills they need, like reading and writing, to initiate into the clergy. If you don't have a library, you don't really go anywhere. So we'll need to have some of this. So my question is, where the heck do I want to have a church? Probably close to the inn. That could be kind of good. So let's try setting up a zone over here, and I'll have a nice little public area just outside the church, because I think that's going to look kind of nice. So the church has only a couple of requirements. You need to have a speaking table, or a lectern, basically, and you also need to have enough benches and chairs and stuff for everybody in your town. Everybody needs to be able to get to church. If they cannot do so, you lose some relations with the clergy, and that would be a bit of a problem. So now I gotta go through here and figure out how many dang people do I have and how big does this church need to be, and the answer is gonna end up being pretty darn big. 59 people currently, no, 61, I forgot about the guards. Actually, wait, no, I forgot about the laborers too. 64 people live inside of this town right now. Wow, we've grown a lot, haven't we? Okay, that's gonna be a lot of benches. Big church, very big church. Yeah, it's gonna have to be something kind of like this. This feels a little bit massive, if I'm honest. It doesn't even feel right. But let's see, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 times 8, that's 72, minus 4 over here. Yeah, that's 68 spaces for someone to listen to a sermon. Yowzes, dude. This is going to be so expensive to build. That's kind of one of the big reasons I've been holding off on the whole clergy business. It's very, very expensive, and I don't have an absolute ton of planks. All the more reason to get another forager family that can actually handle this dang forest, am I right? The king, if please! Excellent. All right, so my reputation goes up by 25%. It's going to make it even easier for me to recruit people when they come by and visit, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue. We get 100 more favor points because I fully met all the tax obligations. So that's all great. Now I've got 151. I could request some more families if we need it. So what's our next round of taxes going to look like? Oh my. Oh dear. Oh my. Oh wow. The king wants a lot this time around. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt a lot. Gosh dang it, king. Now, the good news is I don't think the king ever asks for anything you can't actually produce. So at least there's that. I don't have to worry about setting up a new production chain. I just have to crank everything up a notch in order to meet those needs. And in the meantime, we're gonna be a little on the sparse side as far as my own needs. What's this? Oh, I think the new family arrived. Beautimous. All right, they're tired after a long journey. I will kick these guys out of this house soon, don't you worry. And then I will assign all of this off to you. Okay, so for no family, you know, sorry, you just don't need this much space, so we're canceling that ownership, and I'm giving that up to the Heather family over here instead. And then same thing with your royal forest. I just don't have any belief that you can handle it, so let's give this off to the Heather family as well. Bada boom. All right, and down over here, you're gonna need to build yourself a new little home. But don't worry, I'll reduce your tax liability. That makes it fair. Oh, a milling family. Do we accept a milling family, even though making bread might not be the most efficient thing in the world? At least it opens that up as an opportunity. Family size 3. You know, for the heck of it, yeah, let's go ahead and accept them. All right, fine. We're gonna get some milling involved now, ladies and gentlemen, which means I do have a use for growing some cereal grains. For now, though, let's start with the basics and get them a home. So while they start working on a new home for themselves, what's involved in a milling area? There we go, windmill. Do we place it close to their home or maybe like out behind it? You know, I think out behind it seems reasonable enough. Let's do something kind of like this. And then we need to get a windmill, which takes wood, plank, stone, rope. We have all of those, amazingly. So we can go ahead and set that up, let's say, over this direction, just so I can see the little windmill. Just helps me remember what's going on. So place one over there, plus we'll need some silos to store some grain, plus we'll need some ground deposits. And that should be everything we would need for a very, very simple windmill. Okay, works for me. And actually, something else we could do is get a mining family dedicated over here. We got the points. 6 people at profession level 3 is not bad. I think we go ahead and get them. So that's another round of people that I'm going to need. We're going to go through a lot of our resources very, very quickly if I'm not careful here. But yeah, a large-ish family over here for a mining setup. We can get some copper, iron, stone, all that stuff, which opens up masonry, opens up architecture. All things we're going to need at some point. The big issue I'm running into here is I think that we're expanding so fast that we may not have enough food to go around, and that scares me a little bit. I really hope that we're going to have enough food. This is going to be getting a little close. If I can get another farming family in, I'd feel a lot better about my situation. A leatherworking family. This would be tempting, but it's going to take some leather, and I'm pretty sure we need a tanning family first. Pretty sure. So, not much we can do with that. I don't even have a butcher who's technically able to chop up some of the corpses of whatever deer I do get in order to extract some meat and some leather to sell to the tanner. I think that's the order of things. So, yeah, that's a low priority. With this mining family, let's go ahead and set up a mining field area. I am assuming this entire area close to their house makes the most sense. So we'll go for something kind of like this. Mine shafts. A shaft to harvest resources hidden deep underground. Interesting. Requires a bunch of ropes. Well, I don't have much in the way of ropes. I'm hoping they don't need to go underground in order to do anything. Let's give them a bit of ground storage in the meantime, though. And off they go. They are going straight to the mountainside and extracting some resources. I don't even know if they have any tools, so they might be doing this with their bare hands. And if that's the case, I'm all the more impressed. So there goes our windmill over here, by the way. We dropped off some grain. Someone hopped on inside. It's now turning, and that's going to turn into flour. Kind of curious if flour is worth more or not than simple grain. Is that something we can check? Grain here for caravans. Caravans would not pay more than 4 copper per grain. Contrast that with flour, which should be here somewhere. There it is. Caravans would be willing to pay 53 for it? Wait a minute. Hold on. How much flour do we gain out of a grain? Okay, 3 grain becomes 1 flour, but even so, that feels like a pretty massive profit potential right there, doesn't it? Huh. We may not actually use the flour ourselves, but 12 copper worth of grain becoming 53 copper worth of flour? That seems solid. A butchering family? We had just been talking about possibly needing this. All right, we will accept a butchering God, I really am not confident that I should be bringing in anywhere this many people. But it's all right. Look how many deer corpses the hunters have managed to grab. It's the perfect time, dang it. The only reason I'm accepting these guys is we might be able to turn this into a bit of extra food production, getting some value out of those deer corpses we've currently got, because the hunting family has been nothing but a liability to me at this point. Now we might actually get some use out of all this. The big issue I'm running into, though, is we're running pretty low on building materials, so my dream of building a massive church for the people is getting harder and harder to pull off. Not to mention, the more people we bring in, the larger the church needs to be. Oh, no. One little thing with this butchering family, you don't need 5 butchers, am I right? Probably not. Maybe we can take one of you guys as a servant. Never mind, you're all married and I would hate to split up the families. Maybe when this teenager comes of age, actually a really, really high intelligence skill. Huh. You would actually be pretty decent in the clergy, not so much as a servant. That's interesting. What about in, like, the mining family? We don't need this many miners, right? Probably not. Maybe we can snag one of you guys, then. Oh, I think I misunderstood this, actually. So Mora and Idony over here are the ones that are married. So Joseph's the one who's actually free. All right, we're making you into a servant then, Joseph. Thank you. Oh my god, and also a tanning family. This is like exactly what I need, but I can't. I can't keep growing. We are almost at winter. I've already got so much going on here. It'd be extremely unwise for me to keep taking on more families. I'm not even confident we have enough food to last through winter as it is. Oh, what is this? Penelope Tyler, my servant, is apparently having a romantic meeting with my night guard. Not sure I authorized that, but, you know, I can't say I'm too opposed to it. It sounds kind of cute. I think we might be rapidly reaching a point of the game where I can't properly distribute the money and needs to all of our people. Sounds like we should be able to, but I'm no longer convinced that that's going to be the case. Because, for example, the Craig family was completely out of money and unable to do anything, which doesn't seem quite right, especially for a family that is producing some of the most monetary value in our actual town here. So I had to give them a little bit of cash, but that might mean that they need to start being able to keep some of the clothes that they make to sell to other people. We might want to start moving toward a marketplace. It might be about that time. Well, let's see how things look come tax payment day, which is right now, by the way. And we're going into proper winter now, so here's hoping we got plenty of food. Otherwise, I'm going to have to open up the food stores with some extra corn and whatnot just to kind of keep us going. Yeah, it might be time to go ahead and change up our economy a little bit. It's getting too large for me to micromanage very effectively. All right, let's see. The good stuff's all rolling in. We've got a lot of fish. Good. Did we find ourselves getting much in the way of, like, wool and stuff? I'm not sure we got any wool. Did we not get any? Really? Oh boy. Yeah, this is not as much as I would have liked, if I'm honest. We're gonna be hurting for things like some food for this winter, I think. And yeah, if I'm not actually getting... Oh, there's the wool. Okay, we got 10 wool this time around. That's not as good as last year. But at least it's something. We can keep giving it off to the Craig family in order to make stuff. How about clothing? Do we get much of that? We've got 48 clothes. Okay. I mean, that's worth something. So let's take a look at some trade. I want to see how much value we are creating out of our clothing, because this is, you know, about the time of the game when you really want to start transitioning to making money without having to micromanage it all directly. So under the caravans, clothing's worth about 6.50. Capes are worth 9.38. Capes are worth a lot. Wow. Okay. And as far as our other resources like yarn and silk, 14 and 3.92. Okay, so it's not huge profit. I need to remember what actually is created out of this. At the tailoring workshop, 2 yarn and 2 silk become 1 cape, all right? Versus 3 yarn and 1 silk for some clothes. Okay, so let me do a bit of math and figure out what we're actually creating here. Okay, so clothing is the best profit potential. A cape costs about 8 silver and 12 copper worth of materials to make and only gets me 9.38. Clothes costs about 4 silver, 34 copper, and I get 6.50. So we need enough capes to actually feel comfortable in the winter, but otherwise, clothing remains the highest profit potential. So we definitely want to start making some of that. As far as caravans are concerned, I'm happy to sell some of this until we have, let's say, 30 clothes, just to be safe, all right? And as far as what I'm willing to sell, I want to undercut my own locals a little bit. So I'm willing to sell it for maybe like 6.48, just under what the locals will sell for, except the caravans won't pay more than 5. And that's not good in the sense that that reduces my profit potential a lot. What about... no, this is not great. This actually is not as good as I thought it was going to be. Weird. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as I'm making a profit, it's not a big deal. And clothing is still fairly easy to make. I just need to be getting a lot more sheep together. But again, if caravans don't bring me sheep, what am I going to do, you know? Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Okay, well, creating a profit, it turns out, is getting a little bit harder. Surprisingly, I actually think that flour has a lot more profit potential. It's relatively easy for me to produce en masse. We can get lots and lots and lots of grain and turn it into flour. And we can't get an absolute ton of wool. How are we holding up so far in the winter? We've got enough wood that I feel fine on fuel. That's looking great. Food-wise, you know, the one good thing is we're really, really good at making corn, and lots of it. Smelting. Oh, gosh, dang it. This actually is something I need, but I just... they're not even bad. This would take some iron ore, some coal. We're making all of these things, and we could start making some ingots. I would need a bloomery, though, and I'm betting that takes what? Either a lot of clay or stone blocks? That's my bet. Oh, no. I actually do need this, is the thing. All right, we're going to accept this family against my better judgment, but I'm very, very concerned that we're not getting anywhere near enough food. If we don't see another opportunity come in to bring in a really good farming family sometime soon, I think I'm going to need to request one from the king, using some favor points. I've got a large farming area set up over here, close to the river, where you're going to have some good soil fertility, and we could set this up and have another source of food, because I think we desperately are going to need it. What do we need to get? A furnace. Let's see. Yeah, extract materials from the ore. So we could set this up. How large does it say to be? Pretty small, actually. It doesn't need to be very large at all. We could set it up over here, kind of close to the forest, and where we will be getting a lot of our minerals, or our ores. So, okay, down over here is fine. And then we have dig sites for sand and clay. Okay, if we want to produce some clay, that's an option. A bloomery only takes clay. Well, that's great. So we could set up like 3 bloomeries over there. We would need probably a wooden block just to get some firewood. An oven takes stone blocks, and it looks like is good if you want to make pies and stuff. Why would I care about that? No idea why they're even recommending that as an option for me there, but some stone deposits there, blah, blah, blah. Maybe a couple of dig sites just in case we need to get some clay, but I doubt it. This should be okay. All right, so that's going to end up being our furnace. Let's go ahead and assign this to them. I'll do stewardry for now, but pretty soon I'm going to start transitioning everyone to sockage. A farming family. It's only size 2, though. That doesn't do me much good. No. I'm not willing to build another house just for 2 little farmers. So they're going to have like a little garden plot on the side of their house. And like, we're contributing. No, not good enough. Man, I remember when I had some lofty goals about trying to get down some decorations and wooden floors in all these houses and stuff. That has not gone well, has it? My ambitions apparently need to be set to rest. I overbit this a little bit. But you know, once we've got things like some mining, some smelting and stuff, I mean, we're going into metal production pretty heavily here. Get a blacksmith family. Maybe we start creating enough profit that something good actually can happen. I just would love to see some gosh dang stone blocks, so a masonry family wouldn't be a bad idea either. Because once again, our glass family can't do a dang thing. I feel like we need more caravans to come through, or they need to have larger, more diverse inventories, or maybe there is a way for me to request certain things on their next trip. And if that's the case, I don't know about it, but that would be kind of cool. Anyway, the marketplace that I wanted over here is all set up, so let's go ahead and start setting up some storefronts. What would be a nice little marketplace thing? How about a campfire in the middle to keep everyone nice and warm while they shop? Yeah, that seems pretty good. And then we'll have some storefronts kind of like this, then maybe a couple that are going to be kind of like that, and then a couple more over here, then a couple more off like this. I don't know. This all seems fine. Build a bunch of storefronts. Now, the problem is by even enabling these, I think people could theoretically start to sell off whatever goods they've got. We can take a look at that at the warehouse book. No, probably under the villagers. There we go. So, for example, one of our starting families, we can see what their market presence is. They're looking to sell some straw, stone, a bunch of rags, and some clay, things they have. These are things that they are looking to purchase, either from each other, or from a caravan as soon as it comes through, or from me. They want all of those things, right? So this is going to give me some sort of an idea what kind of resources are about to flood into the market if we are to open up a bunch of storefronts. But you know what? I'm kind of okay with it. Now, one big problem I've got with some of the storefronts is this usually means at least one family member is going to spend a few hours of their day running over here and trying to sell things, which is less good. It means that they're not working when they are trying to sell things over here, as you can see. But some stuff did just get sold, so I mean, like, it's working. They're doing what they need to. A masoning family. Oh my. This thing we had just said we wanted. Oh my god. I'm getting all the stuff I want. I mean, on one hand, that sounds great, right? It's like, yay! On the other hand, oh my gosh, I don't have food, I don't have materials, this is so risky! Oh, great. Some villagers started fighting each other, and we captured a criminal. Narcissa Colville. You're fainted. Yeah, well, I don't know what you were thinking there. Apparently, you were doing something, though. Vandalism. Oh, no, why would you do that? Why would you do that? All right, let's go ahead and start making the transition to sockage on everybody. I think it's probably time. When it comes to things the Royal Force and a few other things, I still want to own the lion's share of the resources, so we'll say like 60% of that goes to me, maybe 5% to the clergy. When that time comes, down over this direction, same thing. I'm going to do this with pretty much everything, I think. You guys can keep some of the resources, but most of it goes to me since I kind of funded their development entirely. Now, the reason I'm doing some of this right now is I figure let's go ahead and let them build up their first stockpile at the end of the winter. We'll kind of let things see where they're going to fall. I'm going to continue giving away things like food and stuff for free, at least until we get this going, which means the farmers aren't going to sell a dang thing, but that's kind of okay with me. There are some exceptions to what I'm willing to make a sockage, though. For example, glass, I want to continue funding that on my own. I don't expect anyone to buy it, but I do want to continue producing it, so this is my way of funding an industry that all benefit from directly. Same kind of thing down here with like the windmill. I plan on making money out of that, but a tailor is something that everyone does need. So basically, if they have someone to sell to, I'm going to let them have sockage so they can make their own money, but I get a good portion of the taxes. If they don't have anyone who's going to buy their goods, like flour without a baker, or glass without anyone building windows, then I'm going to go ahead and fund that directly to make sure that the industry doesn't die. That's kind of the go with all of this. We'll see what ends up working. Hopefully I am not wrong in how this works. And I guess we're going to see where things fall by the end of this. Everyone's out here selling their goods. Not everyone's buying, though, because they don't necessarily need everything. But by the time we get to the end of winter and they know what goods they can keep, I think we're going to see our entire economy shift around. Could be good, Could be bad. I have no idea. But in the meantime, I'm going to end this video here. In the next video, we're going to let this economy completely reset, and we're going to finally get to mess around with the clergy. I may or may not get to actually initiate everyone, but I'm going to build out the dang church. I'm going to get a library. I'm going to start training some initiates, and we're going to be poised to move on into the mid to late game of Lords and Villeins. Thank you all very much for watching, and once again, thank you to Fulcrum Publishing for sponsoring this video. If you guys enjoyed what you saw and you want to learn more about the game, you can find a link in the description down below. Be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time for the finale.